um, but it'll look pretty decent when I'm done. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now we need to go to right. And now you see it looks just the same. So what we need to do is go to build, add reference image, load, go back to your barrel. You could open them both in the beginning if you really wanted to. I just decided not to. Um, Next we need to go to view, all, and we want to remove this thing, make it behind. So we only want to move the x-axis on the top, and we're going to move it back just so it's behind the barrel. Alright, now we need to go back to our right view, go to view, right, go back to object point edit, and select vertex. Of course we just want the x-axis. We don't have to move these up and down no more, we just got to uniform them out. So just kind of go out. Remember how a barrel kind of lays, they're going to go out just a tiny bit. And we'll have to edit this of course more once we get there, but for right now this is fine. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Excuse me. Now, click on that. Click on Object Edit. Click on the mouse. Click on the back reference image. And go ahead and just delete it. Get it out of the way. Now you see we have kind of a beginning of a top part of the barrel. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is, I'm kind of happy with the shape. I'm not going to go too in depth until it's completely built on changing up the shape. Alright, so we're going to go back to our front view, and we're going to go back to object point edit, and we're going to click up right up here beside the point select. We're going to hit the the edge select, and we're going to turn off our arc rotate and grab drag select, and we just want the top row of lines to be green. And what we do is we go to this little button down here, it's extrude faces, click on it and go down till you see it green, and once it's green you let go. That's all you have to do. Now what you need to do is go to the top view. You see the top view, and you want to go to scale, and just scale it down just a tiny bit. This is going to act as our top of the barrel, you know, the indentation that you would see on a barrel. Then you go back to your front view after you've brought it in a little bit, and then you're just going to turn off the X and go just to Y axis and hit move. And you want to move this down just a tiny bit. No, you want it to be right there. Yeah, about right in there. Then you're going to hit extrude again. This time, again, just till you see it's green. There's a little bit of green right there. And then you can hit move and go straight down. Now when you do the 3D rotate, you see that we have the lip of the barrel. Let me put it more solid so you can see it. See, now we have the lip of a barrel. Alright, well that's not too much helpful because now we need a lid. Well, not a problem. So what we do is we go to the user view, which is using the arc rotate. We turn off arc rotate. We want to make sure that we're in a solid view. It's a little bit easier to see the ticks sometimes this way, and I kind of use it. Next, what we need down here on the bottom is this little tool. It's called Add Edges. We click on it. It's a little line tool. You click on one, select a tick, and you click on the other one, or other point, and it makes a line. You go to this one over here, to this one over here. Be careful about which ones you're selecting. If you're not for sure, zoom in and look. I mean, make sure that you got the same point that you need. And now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to wireframe on this one, but get a good look. Point here probably, and a point here probably. So we go to wireframe, and here's the points. Point and point. Be careful on which ones you select. They can be confusing. So point here, the point here. And then you go back to this view and you make sure that you got the right point. And I did. Okay. And then now we can see the other points fairly easy, so they're not that bad. Boom, boom, and done. Alright, now we go to the select tool. Now, selecting lines. Up until this point, you really haven't had to do this too much. What you have to do now is fill in these holes, because you can see right through it, and they need polys or faces, so textures can be drawn on them. So what you do is, if you use the right mouse button to click on this line, you see how it highlights. But if I click on it again on another one, it takes the line away from the other one I selected. So I need to use the right mouse button to select these. And let's say I accidentally selected the wrong line. That's okay. If you hit Alt and hold Alt while you hit the right mouse button on the line, it takes it away without taking away the other ones you've selected. So you don't have to start again. But go ahead and start selecting all your lines and make sure that all of them are selected. You can rotate, move it around, make sure that you get all your lines. All the way around, and make sure that they're the right ones. And then you just do a 3D rotate and make sure. Alright, looks like we got them all. Next, we undo the rotate art, and we go to edit, and we go down here to the bottom that says fill hose. You hit it and boom, now we have polys. And if you click off, you see that they're gray just like the rest of them. Alright, go back to front view. You're like, well, that's all fine and dandy, but how in the world is that going to help us? Because it's just a half of a barrel. What's a half of a barrel going to do? Well, probably not much. So what we need to do, and I'm not for sure about the actual barrel, which the barrel had been used in RPG after RPG after RPG, and I would think that back in those days they had some kind of a vault, but apparently people love to put food and money and magical items in it. Who knows? Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is go back to the front, and we want to zoom out a little bit so we can get a better view of our barrel here. And we want to go to Object Edit, which is the mouse looking cursor thing up here at the top. We want to select our object, and then we're going to go to Build, and then we're going to go to Mirror. And if you look up here, it says Build, and the axis is selected on X. We don't want X, we need Y, because we want it to build downwards. Just hit OK, and boom, now we have another one. We select it, select on this, and then we need to drag it down just a tiny bit to where they're almost touching. That'll be fine right there. And they're all lined up. Next thing we need to do is sew them together. First, we have to select both of them using the right mouse button, then the left mouse button, and then we go to Build and Join Solids. This is important. Now once you've done that, it's pretty much ready to be edited. You go back to your points, your little point view, make sure that they're selected. You can rotate your camera a little bit if you need to, get in a little bit closer, so you make sure you get the right ticks, or excuse me, points. And just left mouse, right mouse. Go to Edit, Merge Points, and clear this out and just put the value of 5 even. And then when you hit OK, you see that they merge together. Do the same thing here. Edit, Merge Points, value 5. It's already set this time, so it's a little bit easier. Points, merge points, value 5, hit OK. Then you go back to arch, rotate it around a little bit. It's what I call sewing together. That's basically what you're doing, is you're just sewing it together. Edit, merge points, 5. Edit, merge points, 5. Right. You just keep on doing this all the way around the barrel, and you will see that the barrel is doing just fine. Edit, merge points, 5. Excuse me for the length of this, but it does take some time to build an object, and I'm not being too picky on the way it looks. Normally I sit back for a couple of 30 minutes or more and always, make it look better and always mess with it to the point where I just have to walk away, because sometimes you can't make it any better, you're just being picky. Sometimes if it's that bad, you might just need to start all over. Just make sure you don't waste too much time and trying to make it too perfect, because it ain't gonna be looked at that much anyway. Most people just gonna walk right by it in a game and not pay too much attention. But it still needs to look nice in case someone does, want to do that. Alright, now that they're all filled, we go back and we can see that we now have a 3D barrel. It's kind of warped a little bit, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna worry about it right now. See, there's some spots over here that I would change. They're a little flat, a little darker. Okay, now that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rings, which is kind of what we were going for, and you can see that they're now arched. This is how the barrel looks, so it's kind of along the same features. And that's probably why we have that odd shape, is because it was at a slant when it should have been like right here. Just a dead-on shot where the rings would have been flat, and we would have got a really nice looking 3D barrel. But it's fine. This will be fine. First thing that we need to do is go to File, and add a texture. And you go to Diffuse, click on the little, I don't know if you see that little minus button right beside the text box, text input box. There's a little box, it's minus. Click on it and go to Load Texture. I got mine in my little anim8or folder. First one I want to animate is wood. Texture is wood. And click on that and you see it down here, a little preview. Click OK. Hit OK. Now you have the wood. Go back to Object, Edit. Make sure you got the Select tool. And you apply. Now that we have wood, doesn't look all that great. We need to go to UV. Click on UV and you see normally that takes care of it. Now of course we don't have slats or whatever in this barrel. I'm not going that in depth. If you look, see, it just looks kind of like a solid wood barrel. It'll be fine. First thing I notice, there's a lot of gloss to it. Wood, unless it's really polished, doesn't have a lot of gloss. So go to specular and just turn it off. Put it on 0, and you'll notice the glare is completely gone now. And we don't need glare. It's wood. There wasn't lemon pledge back then. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is we need to make the rings. So let's go over here and again go to Diffuse and Load Texture and Metal Rust. Hit OK, Metal Rust. I got that texture out of the game maker. WD. And OK. And now that you see it's here, we'll check out the properties later. Alright, next we need to go to the flat, shade it, which will show us our faces. We need to go to select mode, and then we need to go to face select, which is the other out of 3 that we haven't used yet. Click on it and you can see that we can now, same way as we click on everything else, first starting with the right mouse button to make sure that there's nothing else selected, and then hitting the left button. Oops. Again, if you do that, just hit Alt and then right click it. And it takes it right away so you don't have to restart it all over again. That can be a pain, and it does happen. So grab, rotate, grab and rotate, and make sure that metal rust is selected and hit apply, click it off, and there you go. Now you have a wooden barrel. And that's pretty much it. The next one, I guess I'll go into more of a organic, I guess, type tutorial. I don't know, I might even try to draw some kind of an animal or something, who knows. I'll think about it more later. But that's pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and more importantly, I hope it's actually taught you something. I tried to explain it the best that I can. There may be a few things that you don't understand, and at that point, I ask that you just go ahead and email me. If you're using this with the game, 3D Game Studios, the best bet at this point, if you were going to go ahead and just save it, and I haven't even saved it, and just go ahead and save it. You can actually go to Object and then Export, and export it to a 3DS, which, and hit, and there you go.